right. Hello. Let me unmute you. Hello, and welcome to Resonance 11's YouTube channel. We are here today talking to JP, who is the CEO of Odoki, which is one of the sponsors of the Desire Summit. So we're very excited about that. Hi, JP.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. So I wanted to have you on today just to talk, just to talk a little bit about your product because Um, it's one of the few male-centered products that we have at the Desire Summit, so we're very excited about that. And really, I didn't know much about the product before I kind of started reaching out, looking for potentials for Dirty Lola, who, if you've seen her shows on Netflix and things like that, she's a great expert, and I was kind of trying to help her figure out what products should we focus on. She's going to do show and tell of the top 10 products that you must have, and we thought, we really don't have like a male centered thing, and we really love the idea that this is so technology focused and so integrated. So absolutely glad to have the handy on. I'm really excited to dive into this and learn a little bit more about the product and a little bit more about how you got to this product. So of course, I'm sure everyone's first question is, how in the world did you get into working on a product like the Handy?
Yeah, well, it's a longer answer to that question, but in summary, I used to do or be part of the corporate life for many years, doing finance and management consulting, and then due to a concussion, actually, I was out
Hmm.
for a year. And when you're sick and not being part of the normal everyday, you have time to think. And then in that period, I met this crazy co-founder, Alexander, who used to make remote control weapons in Norway's biggest defense company. And he was the one who pitched me the idea of making a male masturbator. So
Oh.
that's like the short story
Hmm.
of how this sort of turned out. But we ended up, my first reaction was a bit, okay, this is unknown territory. But when
Yeah.
when I when I sort of let it sink in, I was quite intrigued and said, okay, if what he's telling me is true, then this is definitely something we need to look into.
That's so okay. That leads me right into my next question because I was reading that you guys got investment dollars from the government in Norway. Is this true?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is true, and I mean, that's credit to the Norwegian government who facilitates this institution that brings loans or like low risk or high risk loans basically
Mm.
to startups, and we qualified. So we've actually gotten close to $800,000 in debt from Innovation Norway, and that's pretty cool. So I think that showing up at their offices and showing what the Handy is actually capable of, that was a different experience. I think both for us and for them. But the technology is there, and they saw that. So they decided to back us, which was or is great.
I mean, wow, that's very inspirational, I'm sure, for people that follow Resonance 11 because even just trying to advertise for adult products is quite
Yeah,
difficult.
yeah,
Um, you
yeah.
know, yeah, so that's, I mean, I don't know if the American government would go for something like this, but it's good to hear that you guys are
But
living.
that being that aside, the actual funding from them, that's probably the easiest funding we've dealt with ever since we started
Mhm.
this company. So I'm happy that that story comes out and that Norway gets some credit.
Good, very nice. Yeah, always innovating that in those Norwegians. So I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, I mean, that also, I mean, one thing that I really noticed was the design. So maybe if you can talk me a little bit through, how you got from that initial prototype into this design that you have, and then maybe what the next things are that we should be looking out for.
Absolutely. So the whole idea behind, I mean, when we started this process of when we said thumbs up, let's make a minimum viable product, a test of what we want to make. We spent 3 months basically buying all the mail products we could find online from all
Mhm.
parts of the world, testing them, and to be absolutely honest with you, back in at that time, a lot of big words, but not fewer products actually deliver what they promised.
Mhm.
So we quickly realized that if we were going to make a product, it needs to work. So we focused on three aspects like grip, power, and speed, and we
Mhm.
made that first 3D version MVP in January 2018, and I was actually the one testing that product. So uh, with the electronics on the outside, but the
Uh-huh.
same concept as you see handy today, but
Mhm.
just made by a 3D printer.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so with those sort of traits or USPs in mind, we also knew that we want to make this into something classy, something like a household product. It shouldn't be
Mhm.
all tits and ass. Excuse my language for
As
the
as they
reference, but
say.
yeah, as they say, but more like have that Scandinavian design approach, right? That
Mhm.
opening, welcoming, non-exclusive in terms of this is a product for everyone, and yes, it has a purpose, but you should also be able to put it on your bedside table or even in your living room, right? It's a new Bluetooth speaker I just bought. So, so
Yeah, yeah. It does look like it does totally look like that. That's very smart.
exactly, and what we also knew that we had back in 2018, we knew that we wanted to do all of these interactive elements, right? So we also designed it so that we could add on new aspects of the products, if it would be
Mhm.
hands-free mount or if it different sleeves. Uh, or whatever we sort of imagined that we have executed on and introduced after on that same sort of shell of what you see today with the handy design. So that's more or less. And then of course with time we've learned quite a lot. So
Mhm.
and the beauty about this kind of product is that you can do a lot on the inside to improve the quality and the performance of the products. So a lot has happened with from the first version of Handy that we sold until the Handy that we have in stores today.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, I was talking to someone at your company about the sleeves and the popularity of the sleeves and the different, how you have to really work into getting the sleeves the right way and the nubs have to be the right depth and like all of these different, small details that really do go into making, really a superior product because when you get into something that's that, what's the word? Like everyone has one, so common, basically. You can certainly fall into, maybe the mechanics of the product actually being great, but then the sleeve of the product not being right. So I really appreciate that you guys took the time to really kind of hone in on and, really refine both of those pieces of it.
And that's that was from the beginning. It was universal, compatible with whatever. You can even use your favorite sleeve on the Handy, right? So it's not a locked system. It's open in the sense that whatever works for you, you can use the Handy with it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that universal approach in the design and in the solutions, I think, has been crucial for our success.
Yeah, and I also it seems like there's an element of assistance as far as the hand free goes. So, with helping people with disabilities, people who my poor uncle's got the shakes. I mean, not that I want to think
Yeah.
about him using this product, but you know what? He might benefit from it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that's been on the agenda from the beginning. But we, when we first started this, it was actually the health angle we wanted to start off with. But due to funding, due to that this is or was and still is an area where it's not mainstream investors coming in and backing these companies. We realized that we had to start out where we could sell handies faster than that full development through like an FDA approval or similar. But we've always had that health angle in back of our minds, and with the hands-free, that's both for mainstream and for the ones who need assistance using the handy.
Fantastic. So let's talk about some of these fun integrations. So I know that you were thinking about different ways to, add on to different sleeves or different like physical additions to the handy, but it seems like there are quite a few ways that you can integrate VR, video games, and all the Bluetooth connectivity, Wi-Fi. So can you talk a little bit about, I mean, obviously, you're thinking towards the future, but how you kind of picked and chose like, what to really focus on as far as moving forward with technology and what you think is going to be the biggest pops and that the audience will be excited about.
Yeah, I think that the whole idea with Handy from the very beginning was to build a device with IoT or Internet of Things capabilities. Basically meaning that a device you have, if it's whatever device, it's smart. Mm-hmm. And people, when we did this back in 2018, not a lot of people thought that that was a thing. But then COVID came, right? And suddenly interactiveness was the big hit. So, but we designed the handy, because this is both electronics, the hardware aspect of it, but also the infrastructure or online part of it. But to keep it plain and simple, we wanted to introduce an anonymous way of being able to synchronize remote control and play games, listen to audio, or whatever kind of input you might enjoy having while then synchronizing to your handy. That can be, of course, if you look into video synchronization, what we've done is that we've partnered up with numerous of different partners from Adult Time, Sex Like Real, Naughty America, and so on, where Handy is basically integrated with their library of movies. So you can watch, on your computer screen, or what we call flat porn, or you can go all the way down to the VR and AR angles, right, and have that full immersive experience. Or you can be remote control from the other side of the world by either your partner or someone else that you want to let control your handy. You can listen to audio, you can play games, and this is just the imagination that stops you. One example is we did what we call a multi-control show in December last year. Where one artist, and
wow, this sounds very interesting.
Yeah, but basically showcasing the tech, right? Because one artist or one artist basically controlled over 750 handies at the same time on one show. So that's when I say that out loud, it's a lot of different reflections that come to my mind. But one thing, of course, is that we have built that technology around it, enabling that kind of experiences. And then, of course, to take this 3 years down the line, you can just imagine what we can do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm gonna imagine you just put the very fancy silicone doll like right on top of this hardware, and then you're ready to go. I mean, look, I'm ready to get myself a fake boyfriend already because it just seems easier. It seems, I have more free time. I don't have to drive to visit him. So I'm into it. I'm interested.
Just have some time.
I'm really just thinking productivity wise. This is,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
keep us all
No, but it's
focused.
it is definitely it opens up so many different use cases. Talking about if it's mainstream, if it's health, if it's new experiences, if it's whatever kind of imagination you have, we can probably facilitate it, and that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
And that's also what separates us from the rest of the crowd, and the rest of the products out there. Of course, since 2018, there's been innovation not only within our company but amongst our competitive products as well. Uh,
Hmm.
but still, I would say that the tech that we built is still superior.
Right. You got to start with a good foundation. So you guys,
Yes.
it seems like, are starting with a good foundation, and it's the Internet of Things and open AI and all this stuff is like very interesting to me, but still, a little bit foreign. And we're gonna also have Samantha Cole speaking at the event, and she's gonna talk about, love, sex, and robots, and stuff like
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm interested, like, do you have like a personal fave that's come across your desk of like an open AI project from a Reddit user,
I
Dave
mean,
657 or whatever?
there's so many to choose between. I mean, one of the best part of building this company and talking about Handy is definitely the community that we have built. We have close to 30,000 active community members across
Hmm.
Reddit, Discord, and Instagram, where of course Reddit and Discord are the most active ones. But it's been super cool to over the years be in direct dialogue with a lot of those community members, giving feedback on products and using them actively in product development. Community-driven growth, I like to call it, because if we do
Hmm.
something that's right, the community will applaud us. If we do something that is wrong, they will tell us what's wrong, right? So it's a good way for us to adjust and iterate along with what the users want. But there's so many use cases from the community, everything from direct AI or open AI integration where you can talk to or write to different models and have Handy move after to sort of the more hardware. That's probably the one that I've been most sort of amazed by the different initiatives our customers have when making hands-free mounts or like this complete setup where Handy is in the center and they can just lean back and enjoy, right? So
Yeah.
and if even have community members who've made flashlight mounts because they wanted to make their flashlight
Mm.
basically automatic, right? So then you have flashlight, which is actually bigger than the Handy. So you
Where?
can imagine them when they have the flashlight connected, it's basically bigger than the Handy itself, but it works. So
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of cool showcases, but the ones where you build the whole Handyverse around Handy with own hardware and designs, that must be the coolest ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the idea of a handyverse, of course. That's so smart. And
Yeah.
I mean, I can I've dabbled a little bit into like audio erotica and stuff like that. And um, there's just so many uses. There's just so many ways that you can connect it. And the remote of course, I think is that's never going to go out of style for sure.
But audio is an unexplored territory, right?
Hmm.
That's because we're so used to using visual, stimuli, like watching porn, let's say,
Hmm.
to get that stimuli when you have a masturbation session. But what we want to introduce, in a bigger extent, is that those alternative ways to use the handy, which might not be just what you see, but actually what you hear or what you play, or other senses that can trigger you while exploring the handy. But audio is definitely something that we need to work more on.
Yeah, that would be a very cool integration. I mean, there are lots of them. And I mean, um, you know, it has me, so thinking of the OpenAI just makes me, it just makes me think about, what the future is, and where else these products could go. What do you think, just being part of the industry? Well, I mean, I know I'm also new to this industry. I was an interior designer before, so I'm also new to this industry. But so, like, what have you seen in the industry as far as advancements towards more technology? I'm asking in the sense of, like, it seems like in our everyday lives, we're kind of trying to get away from technology in the sense of, like, staying away from social media and stuff like that. But in something like this, that's more of like a hardware piece, I'm almost envisioning it like in the same realm as like a hot tub. This is like a luxury for you. But are you seeing more kind of like luxury, relaxation, self-care kind of focused products on your end?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to software, definitely. I mean, we have an open API, so people and developers make stuff for us all the time. When it comes to the AI angle, of course, besides all the ordinary business efficiency matters you can work around with now with AI, there's also a lot of things, especially towards the adult industry, right? In terms of making sure that identifying content that's not allowed to bring up to the different platforms. That's one aspect. Of course, that interactive part with controlling your handy, that's an obvious next step, and we can do that already. So today you can actually talk with a model and have that AI model control your handy. So that's, the technology is there, and the capabilities are there.
So you're saying, like, you're saying model. I'm just making sure you mean like not OnlyFans model, but like model. So you're saying you can type in, I'm looking for such and such speed. I would like this amount of.
Yes.
Okay, wow,
Yes,
that's
I'm sorry about that. A model, of course, that's a word that
That's
can
okay.
be confusing in this setting. But call it like the AI models. So we have, and then of course, the more training those models get, of course, maybe you don't want to sit and write on a keyboard with that AI model, but at some point, the talking, and you can to use voice commands, etc. That's also available now, but it's just not commercialized, right? So the tech is there, but again, we're still very very early on when it comes to the adoption of male sex toys. So I think that along with that adoption rate and sort of the normalization of sex toys, I think that these features and capabilities will be more out there, maybe in a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take very long at all. I think people are learning so much about AI and really delving into it. And I can see, kind of like the same way you get into your car and it has a different preset, and you're like, today I'm feeling like this, tomorrow I'm feeling like that, like, so, set it and forget it kind of situation, I think would be really interesting. Working with, male strokers, what would you say, are there some misconceptions? I mean, or do you kind of hit a brick wall and people are like, well, that's kind of all it can do? Like, what has the response been from just focusing on I mean, I know next you're going to go into a female product. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what have the misconceptions been about just male strokers in general?
I think that there's so many different things I can talk about when it comes to this question, but I think that I think that the main aspect is that sort of that the sort of the feeling of it, the alpha male feeling, that you don't need that, or like, no, I have my hand, or I have a partner, and it's I read the I read an article that just came out from I can't remember the article, but it said that sex toys have historically been associated with people who can't get their action elsewhere.
Right.
I think that's a perception, and the difference between men and women in this setting is that for women it's been a liberation over the last decades, like from 1990s with the vibrating or the rabbit vibrator, right, from Sex and the City.
Yeah.
That started this whole normalization.
Right.
But the guys, we've been left behind. So when we when we when we made this product, it was and we talked with people on trade shows and whatnot. It was, no, I have my partner, I have my hand. But what I normally say is that, of course, but I like to say that you have sex in this end and of the scale, and then you have the masturbation on the other part of the scale, and in the middle you have handy. So like it gives you a new set of feelings and a new experience and a complete different sort of pleasure point than any of the two other. And they can't be put against each other. I don't want to lose my hand, or I don't want to stop having sex, but I don't want to stop using my handy. So it's
That's true.
so different occasions, and when we talk about that, people open up. This is part of a bigger sort of mega trend, and the acceptance around it.
Oh, yeah, that's really, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I do think that is kind of how, people started to, there was a time when everyone was like, oh, toys are only for, if you really, oh, you really need a toy, oh, like
Yes.
it's kind of like, I don't know what the equivalent of a cat lady is. I guess just a gamer
Yeah,
guy.
but
I'm not
I
sure.
know what you mean. I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
but kind of, you're just sitting in your house all by yourself. But no, I think, from what I've seen, I mean, especially the way you guys are, going to market, the way that, the just what you're saying about the design, all of that, the sleekness of the product, I think it's really a lot more in the, this is like a luxury self-care type of thing. This is something, something that, and also, um, it seems like a nice way, if I were to, be able to use this product, it does seem like a nice way to just like have that set it and forget it, and just be like, it kind of like, I can come home, I can have a beer, I can press, presetting number one, and like turn on my music or my audio erotica, or what, or or visual, and be set.
Exactly, and I also like to say that the fact of the matter that you don't have to use any muscles, right? You can be completely relaxed by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
having
Yeah.
Handy do that work for you. That is a different sensation,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that
Yeah, of course.
yeah, and I think that all penis owners would enjoy that feeling, right? But then, of course, it's a step up. If you're a guy and you don't have a sex toy from before, it might be too big of a jump to go straight for
Mm-hmm.
the handy. But then buy some sleeves and test out the sleeves, and
Mm-hmm.
that gives a complete different feeling.
Totally agree. Yeah, sleeves are a good intro for anybody, I think. I mean, um, so that now that we get into, things good for the penis. Oh, this is all we're talking about. Okay. But now I've heard, I saw on your website, I was looking through, and I saw that you guys are coming out with a new product. So I'm
Yes.
interested to hear how this came about and what we can look forward to.
Yes. we are finally releasing a product for women, and that's been on the block for a long time. And we've, the question we get every time we are out talking with people is, what do you have for women? And the reason why we haven't released anything is because we wanted to, when we release something for women, we wanted it to be special. We're a tech company. We make best in class hardware and the tech to make it interactive. So what we did is we created the O, which is basically the PlayStation 5. Have you ever played that or used that console?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Yeah. And have you felt sort of the vibration, the haptics when you
Yeah.
walk in grass, or if you drive, or if you, we use the same technology in O. And the reason why we can do that is because we have the software, right? So we're just as much a software company as we are a hardware company, which and it requires software to control that motor, which is technically an LRA motor. But that means that with the O, you can control both the amplitude and the frequency of the vibrations. So the motor inside, that means basically you can, if it's only on the very top of your skin, you want the vibrations, or if you want to feel the really deep vibrations, like through your torso almost, you can do that. And of course, this product is interactive, so you can both control handy with the product, and you can go online and have the same interactive capabilities as with the handy. So we're super excited about the product, and to top it off, because this is an LRA motor, it's basically like a little speaker making these vibrations. So you can also play your favorite song and really listen hear that song with the bass and with the frequencies and the amplitudes on the vibrations. So so we're thinking about next year, maybe we should just skip the Billboard top 20 and have the top 20 on what song gives the best orgasm.
This is a great idea. I like it. I'm gonna start right now. I'm just gonna start jotting down some ideas. I'll send them right over.
Prepare your playlist, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, if you can ride in the car and hear the bass, then this sounds like it's going to be great. I mean, I'm excited for this. Wow. Sounds
so
fantastic.
That's being launched in May. Super excited about that. We got a lot of both positive reviews and attention already. So it's going to be fun entering the female market as well.
Great. We welcome you with open arms. And also, I mean, honestly, your male product is also great because then we get to have a little bit of a break too, or just just control from over here. You get multitasking again. We're back to productivity. This was really a tech interview.
I've actually controlled a couple of handies on the side here while talking to you. So just
exactly.
Very productive.
Good. I'm glad you got a couple in the works. That's great. I'm happy for you. Well, thank you so much, JP. I really appreciate this. This was really great, super informative. And I think that I'm so excited that the guests at Desire Summit are going to get a chance to see this live and in person. Dirty Lola is going to do a little demo for us. I think it's going to be very exciting. We're also going to maybe try and, have at least one kind of headset so people can kind of, get the sense of what that's like, because I think a lot of people haven't even tried VR, so I mean.
And I just have to say, I mean, of course I'm biased, but the experience and the experience you have when you put on those VR glasses and use your hands free, that's it's completely different, right? And imagine that in 5 years when all of this is even better technologically seen, right, in terms of the size of the glasses and so on.
Mm-hmm.
This will be fun. The immersiveness in the future will be pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see where this goes. I mean, yeah, this is definitely just the beginning for Handy. Very excited to see where it goes. Very excited for the new product. We'll be looking forward to that. And thank you so much, JP. I really appreciated having you on, and we will talk to you soon.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.